This podcast is sponsored by FearFit. FearFit is a UK and Australia-based brand that provide high-quality weight vests and training apparel built for performance, heavily focused on mindset and building an inspiring and motivating culture with athletes from all around the world who share their story and make you believe that anything is possible. You can get money off using discount code PlugsGolf10 at www.fearfit.com.
Welcome back. Episode 7 of Season 2, 32 overall.
Yep.
Plug Golf Podcast. Let's start off how we start off. We seem to keep forgetting about this, so sorry, guys.
What are we drinking today?
What are we drinking, yeah. We're both drinking the same. We've got a glass of Malbec each.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Top quality stuff.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah. Maverick choice. We didn't know what we were having today.
No, we got back to mine. Terrible traffic, so...
It was terrible traffic.
There was sort of plans went out the window a little, but we're here.
Yeah.
We're with you guys, as we should be. Yeah.
It's first episode post-Masters.
It is.
Although the majority of the episode probably will be during Masters, because we had a really fun interview.
Oh, it was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. A lot.
I think it's fair to say that we enjoyed it more than we were expecting. We had a little bit, some pre-match nerves.
Yeah, pre-match nerves is what I'd call it. That's a good analysis.
And then what happened was, we basically had a few drinks, didn't we?
Yeah, we had a few drinks, loosened up.
Yeah. If you listen to the conversation later, you may feel that we were a little more loose than we usually are.
Yeah, we what happened was we had our timings mixed up. So we spoke to some guys from the United States of America.
That's the ticket. The nation.
Yeah, we thought we had planned for 3 p.m. our time.
Again, we.
However, the plan was 4 p.m. our time. So we were here ready, 3 p.m. ready to go, and yeah, we were
here at 2, weren't we? Because we recorded. Yeah.
2-0.
Oh, it's 2-0. Southampton are 2-0 down.
Oh, rubbish! I'm glad I didn't watch it now.
But yeah,
Sorry.
we were here at 2 because we recorded the first episode of our Patreon exclusive content. And the way we're working that is we're going to pick a golfer each episode on there, and do a little sort of read through their biography.
Yeah, just have a chat about it.
And see where the conversation goes.
It was
there.
16 minutes of fun. Probably half of that was about the golfer. We just sort of chat. We just chat. It's a little bit more casual, the chat over there. So if that's what you think you'd be into, then check us out on Patreon. It is available. This series will be available for all tiers of the Patreon. So even if you can just spare a couple of £1 a month for the bronze tier, it's £3 a month. Then check it out, because that's where you'll hear that bonus content.
Definitely, and that's the first of many.
Yeah, it will be the first of many.
So yeah, it's a good start. The Masters. That it was weird. There was a point yesterday where I was sat there and I was like, "This has been a little underwhelming," and then it turned on its head in a way that nothing changed. When you look at it factually, the Matsuyama, congratulations!
Congratulations!
But he was leading, going into yesterday. At no point yesterday was he not on top. And yet there was so much drama on the back nine. Yeah,
it was the 3 birdies in a row from Xander Schauffele that he was 1 shot behind, going into the 16th, and tee shot went in the water, and he ended up making triple bogey on a par 3, and Matsuyama made a bogey. But I was sort of thinking, imagine if he had made a 1 there. We were sort of waiting all day for a 1 on 16. And it was like, it never came, but it was like second to last player to play the whole that day. Imagine if he gets a 1 here, he's got to go for, he's got to play an aggressive line. But yeah, it wasn't to be. It
was similar to that. Imagine I win the lottery tonight.
Yeah,
it was similar to that vibe. But then the more you think about it, the more you start to believe it's going to happen. Which is stupid, but
yeah,
still good fun in the moment.
Yeah, it was sort of.
But yeah, I really enjoyed watching the golf.
Yeah, I loved
it. It's such a different vibe, the majors, and I love it.
Yeah, it's good. It's all good fun.
It's almost like you wish there was more of that, but at the same time, the more there is, the less special it is. So.
Yeah, I just love it.
What do you think is the best few days of golf to watch? The Masters or the Ryder Cup? Because for me, that's top 2.
Yeah,
for watching.
I really like the Ryder Cup.
And condensed, and
3 days
into 3 days.
3 days. It's really sort of. I like the sort of team aspect of it. It's
camaraderie.
It's so different to your sort of, because like I was sort of supporting a couple of guys out there in the Masters because I had money on them, or like Justin Rose didn't have any money on him, but it's like, oh, he's English, so I want him to win if one of the guys that I have money on doesn't win. But yeah, I don't know. I think Ryder Cup for me.
Yeah, I think I'll be inclined to agree. Obviously, it doesn't happen as regularly. It's a much different sort of way of playing the golf.
Yeah.
It's nice seeing players interact with each other like that as part of a team. So yeah.
I think if the Open wasn't in the UK, or if I wasn't in the UK and was able to watch the Open at the same sort of time as I can watch the stuff in the US, because it's on like in the evening, it's sort of ideal. Like Charlotte will go to bed at whatever time, and it means, okay, well, I've got a few hours here where the golf's on for a few hours. I'll sit and watch that, and I know it's live. Whereas with the Open, it's very much like, oh, it's happening while we're at work, or on a Saturday, it's a bit like, am I really taking the whole day just to sit here and watch golf?
It's a shame, isn't it? Because
as much as I love it, I think maybe next year we'll try and go. At St Andrews, I don't think we will. Maybe in the next couple of years we'll try and get there, and I think that'll be a better experience. But because you're there, and you haven't really got to worry about sort of the golf, like oh, I'm taking this much time out of the day to watch golf. So because you're there and it's all part of the experience. I think for a UK-based person who does work Monday to Friday, whatever, and has that then weekends that you sort of have to be doing stuff with the family or like girlfriends, whatever, I think being able to go would be better. Like, because if I sort of said to Charlotte, oh yeah, Saturday, Sunday, all day, I'm gonna be playing in front of the telly watching the golf.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll go down particularly well.
Yeah, I think.
But with the Masters, I can sort of be like, well, it's in the evening. I'll watch it from like last night. She was like, I'll go upstairs and watch a Netflix show or whatever, and you can have the telly and watch the golf. And that was from pretty much when Matsuyama and like the last 3 pairs went out. She was a bit like, I'll go upstairs and chill upstairs. Like,
the Georgia timings, the Florida timings, like we were saying the other week, are ideal for us.
Like perfect.
Because it's not too late, but it's
it's sort of late enough that you can watch a decent portion without being told off.
Yeah, and you still going to bed at a half decent time, getting a few hours in before work. So, I think that was perfect. And like I say, it just made for it's a different thing when these players are going after major wins, isn't it? Than just a PGA Tour win, but it's a big thing. But when how much it must mean to the players, it sort of seeps into you when you're watching it, and the caddies too. So I mean, we saw the Matsuyama's caddy got a lot of
bowing to the course at the end of the round.
Yeah, he got a lot of praise today for that, and it was quite I liked it. Nice to see.
I didn't think I would like Matsuyama winning as much as I did.
I mean, I said I messaged you and I said I'm not sure
how I feel about it
with either Matsuyama or Zalatoris because
Yeah.
it doesn't work-wise. We don't stock the brands, so
Mhm.
it's not something that
FootJoy we couldn't
links into us.
with
Yeah,
Zalatoris.
true.
Yeah.
True.
But I know what you mean. It's sort of, yeah, especially with Matsuyama. Like,
what we like is the polo shirt that they're wearing, we stock, and then because that photo in the green jacket, you rarely see the shoes in it.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So it's that image, and then we should be able to sell loads from that.
Yeah.
So it was looking at it from a works aspect. I was like, yeah, it's not going to.
And also bets as well, things
and
like that.
Bets, yeah. I had Smith's Beef and Shoffley that all placed.
It's the first major, because I only tend to bet on the majors. It's the first major since I started betting on the majors, maybe 2 years ago, that I haven't come away with profit, and I actually came away with no money returns.
No returns, yeah.
No money
It's a
returns.
shame. Who would you say was the biggest letdown?
DJ obviously not making the cut.
Yeah.
I
had one that didn't make the cut, and it was Cantley. And
Rory.
That was who I said in episode 2, he was my shout for winning it.
Yeah.
Because going into that, he was playing well. And then since I've said it, he's not been in contention
I think
at all.
I think Rory is still just a disappointment, like round Augusta. DeChambeau, he's got some unfinished business there, I think. Don't know.
Question of the week. Is Rory going to win a PGA Tour event in 2021?
No.
I would be inclined to agree with you. However, for the purposes of this, I'm going to say yes. And then we'll
discuss.
If he does. If not, it's going to be a pretty short discussion. But
I just don't think he's on it enough.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be in the right headspace.
He's going after speed and distance too much, I think.
Yeah.
Thinking he's just calm down, sort of go back to what was good for him.
But yeah, I tell you what, Matsuyama's a different sort of winner as well, was another thing that I sort of thought about than the last two.
Mm-hmm.
Woods and DJ are a different animal to Matsuyama.
Yeah, definitely.
He didn't, to me, not once did he really look phased.
Yeah.
Which, again, you're not going to see from Tiger either, to be honest. But DJ, at some events I've seen when he's leading or in contention, you can sort of see him. He's like calm, but you can sort of see that he's not quite in the zone. Does that make sense? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I just really enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, so did I. To be fair, really enjoyed it. Looking forward to the next.
So this year we got the Ryder Cup, as we said. We got the Olympics golf, which we mentioned.
That's like 3 weeks away.
No. It's July and August.
Oh,
Olympics, standard Olympics time.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
But there is the Thursday to Sunday golf, and basically I looked into who qualifies because we were unsure on the Patreon episode.
Yeah.
So let me just grab it up quickly. But it looks like it's pretty much the top 60 ranked golfers with a maximum of 4 per nation, I believe. And then at least one from the host nation and each of the continents, I think it is.
Okay.
So who are the 4 highest ranked Brits? As it stands.
Rory, maybe Tyrrell Hatton.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Maybe Westwood's in the last couple of weeks might have risen a few places.
If anyone disagrees or knows any different, then let us know. But I'm just trying to see. The internet's not great in here, so it's not very quick.
Sorry.
Right. Tyrrell Hatton.
Yeah.
I believe. Rory McIlroy.
Yeah.
Matt Fitzpatrick.
Oh.
Paul Casey.
Nice. So that'd be our 4.
The 4, yeah. Supposedly. But
at the same time, I'm not sure how it works. Whether whether they'd all
play.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I'm not sure how it works, but I'm fairly certain that they would be R4 as it stands.
So we could effectively win gold, silver, and bronze. You like Team GB could, or I don't know.
Yeah, again, I'm not sure how it works. I'm fairly certain that's what it said. Maximum of 4. Let's have a look at the 2016 one, shall we?
Yeah, probably should have looked at this before.
We've been busy, to be fair.
Today was very busy at work.
Not only that, we can't look at it at work, George. We're working.
Well, lunch break, and I want to take my lunch break after a long working morning.
Unless that's what goes into qualification, to be fair. So that's who that goes into qualification, and then it goes on from there. That would make sense, wouldn't it?
Okay.
But yeah, who do you think, if you had to pick one, if you had to choose one golfer to represent us at the Olympics this year?
I was thinking about this because I think Tyrrell Hatton would be very good, but I'm not sure how much they'd want him because he wears his heart on his sleeve quite a lot. He's very sort of vocal out on the course. But I'm not sure whether Team GB would sort of want that vibe.
Okay, here we go. Qualification will be based on world ranking as of 22nd of June 2020 for the men, with a total of 60 players qualifying in each of the men's and women's events. The top 15 players of each gender will qualify. Okay, that makes sense. With a limit of 4 golfers per country that can qualify this way.
Okay.
So, okay, that makes more sense.
Nice. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I look forward to that. Yeah, because that'll be another
different sort of vibe.
Yeah,
and that'll be an early morning.
Vibes, a bit too many this.
That'll be an early morning sort of one.
A bit like the 2002 World Cup.
Mm-hmm. Very early mornings. But yeah, that's good.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, so do I. We've got some new additions to the wall behind us for the YouTube gang to be seeing, haven't we? We started off with Pulse, DJ,
and John
Daly up here.
Yeah.
We've now added 2 of Sebi, one of the Ryder Cup team 2012.
Yeah.
Justin Rose, Woods, Palmer, Nicholas, and player Nick Faldo, and
you saving the big one till last.
Alan Partridge.
Steve Coogan signed Alan Partridge.
I think it's actually signed Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Steve Coogan.
Yes. I didn't see the Coogan underneath. Yeah, so signed Steve Coogan,
Image.
but very Alan Partridge.
Very much in character as Alan Partridge.
Yeah.
I like it.
Hamilton's Waterways.
Water breaks.
Waterways to have a good time.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like the wall. It's growing.
It is. I think there'll be a few more additions to be coming. There's a lot of space behind my head, behind your head that we can go to.
And all the way
a bit more down here. Obviously, won't be too much behind the chairs, but
yeah,
there'll be some bigger additions. I think maybe a few more little ones like that, but I think some bigger ones will be there.
I'm up for a big poster somewhere.
Yeah, I think so. Similar to, I mean, obviously off camera, but I've got 3 Southampton ones just to the left of me. One Letiz's shirt jersey with different sort of shirt vibes, and 9 different shirts as well, hand drawn.
Yeah, it's very much a Southampton fans wall.
Yeah,
that one. So yeah, you've got your playing this week, this Friday, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
With 2 previous guests,
possibly or unconfirmed at time of record, likely to be 2.
And I played with 2 previous guests last Wednesday.
You did?
I played with Jack Lovick and Max Hollowbone. We only played 9 holes of Lockbridge Drove or Eastbourne Golfing Park, and I played. The first 3 holes were pretty shabby. I mean, they were still. The first 3 holes would round out the first 10 holes I've played since lockdown. The following 6 were pretty good. Yeah, I'd say a couple of pars, couple of bogeys, 2 double bogeys.
Can deal with it.
If I went round in form like that, realistically, I'm not going to go home too miserable. I was hitting nice shots as well.
Yeah, nice.
I did get an 8 on the 3rd after business with a tree. hitting that square on and it pinging straight past me.
We've all been
there.
We were saying it's mad how you've got such a big gap to aim for, but that tiny tree or that tree that takes up such a small percentage is always what you hit.
I mean, when you say a narrow fairway, you look at the size of the fairway compared to the ball, and you in your head it's like, how can I not land it on there? It's crazy. The bad shots are the ones that just sometimes you don't even know how you've done it.
Yeah, mental.
But I'll tell you what, I was setting up to hit my classic slice. It just wasn't coming.
Yeah,
it wasn't coming with the 3-wood, so I was quite happy about that because it led to some pretty good shots.
Yeah, nice.
But then I hit a slice where I needed to on the 5th.
Lovely stuff.
Yeah, that was with the 4 hybrid.
It's called a fade when you want it to happen, I think.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah, lovely stuff. I think we should get into it because it's meaty. This.
Yeah, it's a longer episode.
But good long. It's not. Don't be put off by that. It's good long.
What I will say is this is our part 1 with Golf Cart Conversations. Is the US podcast that we've spoken to.
Collabed with.
Yeah, and they'll be releasing part 2 of this conversation next week, I believe. At point of release, it'll be the following week. And it's very much a get to know you episode, get to know each other's podcasts.
It was really good fun. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's talk of another one happening. There's talk of brief dates, but they'll be more ironed out towards the time. But yeah, I think we'll definitely be speaking to these guys again. It was really good fun. It was like you said, we'd had a couple of drinks, but it felt quite natural just speaking to them. Do you know what I mean? It felt like we were sort of already quite good mates, just like the 4 of us just having a good chat.
Agreed. It didn't take long to feel at ease with them.
It's like that with people that like golf, though. You've got a vested interest.
Yeah, that's it. It's the same here. If you meet someone, a lot of our first conversations will be about football with someone. Football, golf, something like that. Find a shared interest.
Exactly,
I'm not gonna lie. I can talk for ages.
Yeah, you did on that episode.
Yeah. Was it my fault?
No. The questions were good, but I think the amount of alcohol we had consumed helped because I feel like we didn't really sort of let them speak a lot. We just, I don't know.
I think that's what you want.
Yeah.
As a podcast host,
we've
said it about it before. We want to set them up, and then we want them to knock it out of the park and chat away for as long as they like.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think we were good guests.
They got a good setup though.
They
potentially better than ours. Audio better than
Audio
ours.
Definitely better. But we're going to be looking into that over the next couple of weeks.
Recommended
some
mic.
Just a quick one. We've still got these Plug Golf X Garns t-shirts going.
Yeah, we've got a few left.
If you want better audio quality, buy a t-shirt, and then we can get a better mic each. I think the one that them 2 guys had was a good mic option. So maybe that's what we'll look into.
Yeah, we just need several £100 before we can make that investment.
Exactly.
So,
but without any further ado, enjoy the guys from Golf Cart Conversations.
Okay, here we are with episode 7 of season 2.
Episode 32.
32. And we have guests from the United States of America.
Our furthest guests in distance so far.
Yeah.
Nice.
We're here with the guys from Golf Cart Conversations, so Michael and Donovan.
Hello.
Yes, happy to be here.
Yeah, so excited from across the pond. We're all together.
Because we've done one podcast with a guy in Canada. Where was he? Toronto. So yeah, you guys are geographically furthest from us so far that we've done. So that's
nice. Cool. We win.
Yeah.
Place. No, we're over in the beautiful Pacific Northwest.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, if anyone that's listening to this hasn't checked out their podcast, honestly, it's really good. I've listened to every episode so far. They're doing some good stuff. They've you guys have had a couple of guests on, sort of chatting about sort of golf in your area. But it's sort of good to. I know you're saying on your podcast that you sort of just wanted to speak to people within the community. That's why we sort of reached out to you guys. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, and we
That's
love
awesome.
that. That's our whole goal with this podcast. It's just like building a golf community and getting to know people. I mean, getting to know people around the world on this one. And so that's just phenomenal. That's like golf for us is just a social and community building activity. So getting to connect with you guys is awesome.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I mean, that's pretty much what we do as well, just from a different country. But for those of the listeners that don't know about you, do you want to tell us about yourselves and how you got into golf?
Yeah, take it away, Donovan. Give them your origin.
All right. So Donovan here, and I got into golf at a pretty young age. We had a municipal course near my house that I actually worked at. I picked up golf balls in the range, and for that I got free golf. So at a young age, I kind of got into it. My dad was learning the game, and so between those two things, I got hooked pretty early. But I actually, for most of my childhood, played other sports. So I didn't spend a ton of time on golf until really when we were in college. Mike and I were friends in college and took a portion of the college time where we played golf every week. And that was really when it got deeply ingrained in my life there, because I had so much fun. And to Mike's point earlier, it's a very social thing for us. And so met a lot of fun people. And since then, I've really just enjoyed getting out, for the walking the 18, getting outside and playing golf and trying to get better. It's also a sport. I've played a lot of different sports, and it's one sport that I've really had a hard time getting better at, which has been kind of fun, right? It's a challenge more than any other sport I've ever played. So that's really about it for me. I hope to continue to play, and part of that passion brought up this podcast that Mike and I do now.
So what other sports did you play?
I played soccer most of my childhood, basketball, and then lacrosse.
Okay, yeah. I mean, we'd have been. Yeah, I was mainly football, soccer.
Yeah, right.
Probably only that really till I was 16 or 15, 16. Then a bit of golf, and then just sort of try and juggle the two. You were rugby, wasn't you?
Yeah, rugby for me.
Okay.
All before we found golf, and
quite a big build, so it works quite well. But yeah, no, definitely. I'm golf mad now. I just play as I can. I got out this morning, played 15 holes. Just the rain started coming down.
It's like it's all you want to do.
What about yourself, Mike?
Yeah, it's a fun sport.
How did you get?
Yeah, well, Donovan, if you were getting free golf as a kid, you should be a lot better than you are now.
I know, right? It's true. I needed free golf lessons also.
That would have helped, yeah. Yeah, so mine was because of my grandpa. I had a grandpa who belonged to a country club in a town like 3 hours away from where I grew up. And so every time we went to visit grandpa, he'd take us out to the country club, and we'd hit the driving range. And then as we got older, he'd take us out on the course. And, it just became something that my family did. It was like we go visit the grandparents, then go play golf. And then as I just got more and more into it, I started playing on my own, and I had a little muni course in my hometown. And same thing, like one summer was bought a pass out at the course for like unlimited golf for 1 month. And me and 3 other buddies probably played, I think we actually did play every single day. On the last day of the month, we played 69 holes. And it was just like what we started doing during the summer was just playing golf. And then met Donovan in college, and Donovan would skip, what was it, Japanese literature or like what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of those great
courses.
classes.
Yeah, college. He'd skip it on Wednesday afternoons, and we'd drive up and play this great course near our college. And it was just like the best, that was the highlight of the week, is going to play golf. So we've just played off and on for the years. And then decided now we've really been got it in our veins. And so we just had to do a podcast where we could talk about golf and think about golf and play golf as much as possible.
Yeah, definitely. How long have you been doing that for? How long have you been friends for?
Feels like ages.
Yeah, it does. We're probably going on about 20 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Met this guy in the dorms. He was actually friends with my wife now. So his wife is best friends with my wife, and so we're best buddies. And we all kind of were in the dorms together, and we just kind of stayed together over the years. Now he can't get rid of me.
That's right.
Yeah, that's longer than us.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it sounds good. So what was the turning point for wanting to start the podcast, or turning just playing golf into wanting to talk about it and put it out there?
I would say a big thing for us was with COVID-19, that happened this past year. In our state, one of the only things that remained open the whole time was golf. And so I think that, and with a lot of us moving to working from home, that created more opportunity to play more golf. And then we had a little bit of extra time because of things being shut down. And Mike and I had multiple times talked about how much fun it would be to talk golf and do a podcast. And we saw other people out there, like yourselves, that were doing it and seemingly having a lot of fun. And so that was kind of what started it, was the whole COVID-19, and then just that extra time. And we decided to take the leap of faith.
Yeah. We both have 2 kids, and life is pretty busy with 2 kids pre-COVID. And so there wasn't a lot of time to sort of think about things we wanted to do like that. I felt like we're all just shuttling kids to, football practice or, some after school activity or whatever it was. And then COVID hit, and it was one of those, blessing in disguise where life just got a lot slower and a lot more kind of casually paced. And so we could just sit and think, what do we want to do? How do we want to spend this time? And, golf being something we both value, and hanging out with each other is something we love to do. So it just seemed like this natural next step. And it has been really cool. It'll be interesting to see how we manage it as our lives get busier again, as the kids start needing, my son's off at a soccer game right now. So it's it'll be interesting how we manage this as things start to change again.
It definitely gets harder. I think we were very similar. We literally started just from last year.
I think the idea may have come up before COVID had really hit us here. And then over that sort of month period between the idea and us actually starting it, we sort of started to feel the effects. But we've been working the whole time. So
we work together in literally the same office. We're sitting next to each other. Our desks are literally side by side. So we spend probably a little bit too much time together in very similar to this sort of vibe.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What do you do for work, and has that been easier to sort of manage it, like you say, because we've had to juggle the podcast and working. We work quite long hours as well, don't we? So it has been stressful. But yeah, what do you do for a job?
Yeah, well, I'm a teacher, so I'm a 5th grade teacher over here. I think it would be like a 6th year for you guys. I don't know, kind of that 10, 11 age.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's been actually really nice. My job has slowed down a ton during this time because I'm from home. And so, my mornings used to consist of racing around, getting my classroom ready, and then just busily teaching all day. But for the last year, it's been sauntering into my office with a cup of coffee and slippers on and, teaching from home. So it's really made it, like I was saying, this whole idea of starting a podcast became much more feasible because life was a little bit slower. But yeah, so I'm a teacher. Donovan works in a big way.
And I work for Nike. I do apparel planning for Nike, and so my job has actually gotten I think that the job hasn't changed drastically, but I used to drive an hour and a half each way to get to the Nike campus from my house. And so I've found that I feel like I have a lot more time on my hands because I take out that big commute. But my job is heavily based off of emails and Zoom calls and things like that to begin with. So it hasn't changed drastically, but it's actually been just nice that I could, not have to get up as early and just kind of hang out at the house. But I'm working solely out of my house at this point.
So you work for Nike, but do you work sort of anything to do with golf, or is it?
No, I work on the Major League Baseball and NFL apparel. So anything related to those sports and the apparel side of the business. And unfortunately, Nike's golf, a few years back, they decided to get out of golf equipment and golf balls. So we're down to just the footwear and the apparel. And I currently don't work on that stuff, but yeah, I've tried to get closer to it, but when we shrunk the golf department, it became a lot harder.
Because we work for an online golf store, online and in store, but we're half of the customer services team effectively, and customer services and sales. So part of our job is selling Nike products. So
Funny.
So that was, I guess, sort of a lot of the inspiration came from that. We work within the golf industry. We sort of talk golf. We see golf apparel, mainly apparel and sort of clothing, sort of software rather than hardware. But it's just the fact that we were sort of in that world and we were talking about golf. It was one day, Cal just sort of texted me and said, should we start a podcast? And I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Of course.
Do you know, and I think you were sort of a bit like, I think you just sort of text me, I think you'd had a couple of drinks and you just sort of text me a bit like, oh, should we just do it? And I was just like, yeah. And then it just sort of started from there. But
I'll tell you what it was, is that I was working at the time, but it was that we were, for a few weeks leading up to that, we'd been watching a lot of other people's content.
Yeah.
So do you listen to a lot of podcasts or watch a lot of sort of golf content online?
Yeah, that's another reason we got into it. Donovan, what do you want to know? What are your
I mean, I'm heavy into instructional type videos. I mean, I think a lot of people, like the no laying up guys, are non-instructional, but those guys have a pretty big platform and pretty entertaining. And so I watch a lot of No Laying Up. I watch a lot of Danny Maude and a few other Chris Ryan golf and a few other of the golf instructional YouTube videos, because I've been trying to fix this over the top issue that I've had for years, and been on these videos hoping I would find the magic move. But a lot of those kind of videos, I've listened to some podcasts. I used to listen to a lot more, but because I don't commute anymore, I had a lot of time in the car where audio only was a good setup for me, but now I don't listen to as many as I used to.
Danny Maude is he should be knighted. He is he's like the guy. Anytime one of his videos comes on, I'm like, oh, I'm watching this, because he explains things in such like a cool, casual, easy to understand way. And that's actually he's like my number one guy. But I also love, of course, Rick Shields and Peter Finch. And, the No Laying Up guys are awesome. They're fun. And there's another podcast we listen to a little bit and follow on Instagram, is the Golficity guys. They're a couple American guys that live over on the East Coast, and they do a good podcast. And they're real instructional, but they also do some kind of entertainment and stuff. So they're cool.
So, I mean, that was sort of, like you say there, a lot of the stuff out there is sort of instructional, sort of teaching, low handicapping stuff. And I think we sort of saw a bit of a gap in the market. Like I play off 19. Cal unofficially plays off about 22 to 25.
Yeah, probably.
So we sort of saw that sort of gap in the market for just your average golfer just chatting about golf. and that was sort of where we sort of came in at it from. Like we literally just sort of started off the podcast. First episode, we were very much like, we're no good at golf. Don't listen to anything we say. That's sort of instructional. We're just here to chat. Do you know what I mean? It was just very much like we're not here to tell you what to do. We're just
purely opinions.
Yeah.
That was our message too. It's like we have no idea what we're doing, and we're just trying to figure it out. And we're just going to share the things we learn along the way, and maybe somebody will learn something, and maybe somebody will get something out of it. But really, our hope is that we get better at golf. Like, this is kind of our secret mission to, like, eventually, you know, the dream. I mean, Donovan's already kind of in this zone. I'm hovering at a 10, so I'm not quite down into that single handicap range yet. But that's my goal, is to get down into the single handicap. So through this podcast, it's kind of like we're getting to talk and practice more golf. So hopefully it'll happen soon this summer.
How did you come up with the name of the podcast and then logo and stuff like that? How did you get into that?
I would say the name, I think, I don't know who, I think it was maybe me that came up with it, but to me, we were trying to figure out a name and a vibe for what we wanted the podcast to be. And what I kept coming back to was, like, when Mike and I golf, if we're in the golf cart or we're pushing the golf cart down the fairway or walking, there's always really fun conversations that happen. And I was trying to come up with something that encapsulated that vibe of, like, hey, you're with your buddies on the golf course. Sometimes you talk about golf or your crappy golf game, and then sometimes you're talking about what's in the news, or, you know, or just some funny story that happened over the weekend. And so I thought of golf cart conversations as kind of the way to capture that moment of, like, hey, the type of what you're going to get in our podcast is the type of conversations you have in a golf cart with a buddy when you're sitting side by side, having a drink maybe, and playing around. So that was kind of where the name came from. And the graphic or the logo was something I also just kind of, based off the name, wanted to get the golf cart involved. And I ended up just piecing some pictures together and then drew out the golf cart myself, and then we just kind of ran with it. We had a big debate between whether we use the golf cart, the drivable golf cart, or the push cart, because Mike and I actually like to walk the course.
Yeah, we never really actually get it.
And we don't often actually use a drivable golf cart, but I felt like for people to get the vibe of the podcast, you think it's easier to describe it as when you're sitting with a buddy in a golf cart.
It's a little bit more recognizable as a thing, isn't it? If you don't like the trolleys is what we'd
totally.
But if for someone who doesn't play or doesn't own one, it's not actually the easiest thing to recognize, I suppose.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Everybody, whether you're a golfer or not, most people recognize the golf cart.
Yeah.
And so then it's an easier transition to say, like, hey, you know, if you've ever ridden in a golf cart, usually there's some sort of fun banter that happens, whether it's taking a golf cart for a golf game or whether you're in a golf cart for some other reason. There's always some sort of fun banter. So that's kind of where we went with it.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I do like the vibe, and it makes total sense. And you sort of know what you're getting into without listening to a second of it. You know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's ideal. That was similar to ours, and I come up with name and drew out the sort of logo. And then we had a change up between season 1 and 2 with colours and stuff like that. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, no, our struggle was just finding a name that wasn't already taken.
I know.
I think it was probably third time lucky, wasn't it? I think a couple that were thrown out.
It really was, yeah. It was just like we sort of, I don't know, on our sort of logo, we've sort of gone for like the AirPods vibe with the like, because we were sort of like, oh, you're listening, like it's a podcast, you're gonna be listening, like we sort of turned the second one into like the G. It all sort of came together. It sort of once we sort of found that, it was like, oh yeah, that's good, and then it just sort of went from there.
That's it. When it was, I looked up. I just had a list of golf terms in front of me. Sort of plugged. Thought that works perfectly. Was surprised it wasn't already taken.
Yeah.
And then the logo sort of come from there. But yeah,
that's awesome. It's a fun journey to try to figure that out.
Yeah, we had golf cart conversations, and we were trying to get the Instagram handle without the underscores. That's one of our little things. Is every episode it's like, oh yeah, it's got a bunch of underscores. And some dude's got golf cart conversations, and he never posts. It's like a dead thing. And I was like, dang it, can we get that from you? But I'm thinking we're going to start hunting down on Instagram and be like, can you close that guy's account so we can have the golf cart conversation?
Because we're actually using it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A lot, so please, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's fun. I feel like, I don't know if you guys felt this, but there's a little bit of like pressure there. Like you want to get the podcast going, but you want to come up with like the perfect name and the perfect logo.
Yeah.
And it was a funny process to me of trying to balance like, hey, we want to get this thing started versus like, hey, I need more time we need more time to figure out the right name and the one that's not taken too. Like it's a whole thing you have to balance there.
You want to be like changing a bunch once you start. Like once you have your logo, you kind of want to stick with that because it's your brand.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure it's right from the get-go. But we did have that moment where kind of you said something about golf cart conversations, and we both went, yeah, that should be the name of the podcast. And we kind of had like that moment of yes. And then you got the image, and it was like, that's perfect. And then away we went.
Yeah.
Have you found there was more or less pressure on naming the podcast or naming your children?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That is tough.
Children, definitely. That's a whole nother level of pressure, knowing you're giving somebody their name for their entire life and
oh my God,
all the flashbacks of your childhood and being made fun of for different reasons come flooding back.
Well, and since I'm a teacher, I have all these kids.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, I like that name, but that kid was an asshole, or you know, like
100%. I've got a daughter, and it was exactly the same. Sort of, you come and throwing out names, but everyone knows someone with that name or something.
Yeah.
Must be so much worse for a teacher as well, especially of like kids of that sort of age. Being able to just, like so many kids who like you say, like, oh, like he was such an arsehole, but like it's such a nice name.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I ended up for my son. That was like I ended up naming him not after a kid from my class, but like I had a good association with the name of a kid in my class. So I was like, oh yeah, that'd be a sweet kid. A kid named that name would be a sweet kid.
Yeah.
So, it was tough though.
That makes sense.
Oh, nice.
Should we get into quick fire questions?
I think
learn
so.
a bit more about the guys.
Yeah. So, question number one. Should we work this? Should we go one person then one person? I don't know. We'll start off with Donovan first for all the answers.
Put him in the hot seat.
It gives you a bit more time to think, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm a little slower than him, so that's perfect.
So, favorite present golfer?
Favorite present golfer? Oh, I have. Let's see. I mean, I'm pulling for, and maybe it's just recency bias with the Masters going on, but I'm pulling for Justin Thomas.
Okay.
I love his game, but the other one, I mean, I don't know if I'd call him my favorite, but I'm super intrigued by Bryson, which is not a surprise probably because that's the whole golf industry and golf world. But I just love tuning in. He's like must-watch TV for me.
Yeah.
And kind of like Tiger used to be, but yeah. So I'll go with Justin Thomas.
Which is funny, those are my two least favorite golfers.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I can't stand Bryson. And Justin Thomas, I don't know, he has a vibe that I don't like. But anyways, I have a top three I was thinking about. I'm glad I got to go second because Rory's number one for me. I think Rory is the bomb. He's a super smart, nice, thoughtful dude. Love his post-round interviews. He just kind of has a level head about him. He just got dominated this week. Or this Friday. But I think he's a good dude, and I love his game. The other one is Colin Morikawa. That dude's iron game is legit. Like he just throws darts up on the green. And then this week, I'm rooting hard for Tony Finau. I want him to win one because He's such a good golfer, and he seems like such a good dude. And that video of him dislocating his ankle, have you guys seen that video?
No, I don't think I want to.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't either.
It's on the golf course. He was like, he hit something and he was running up to look at it, and he dislocates his ankle.
Yeah.
And then reaches down, pops it back into place, and finishes the round.
He said like after he has to pop it back in after like less than a minute, otherwise he just can't walk for about a week and a half.
It was the most hardcore thing. I was like, Tony,
it's mental.
Tony's so likable, but he has got a always the bridesmaid, never the bride sort of vibe.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm worried for him this weekend. Is I'm worried he's going to be in the lead or something going into 16 and just completely just dunk it in the water. Yeah. Because he doesn't seem to have that like finishers vibe to him. But once he wins one big one, he's going to win 3 or 4 more because he just needs that confidence.
Yeah. So, who's your favorite past golfer?
I mean, I'll go first. I think it's probably your most common answer, but Tiger Woods. I mean, he was really what drew a lot of me watching golf. I didn't watch much. I like to play golf, but I didn't watch much golf until Tiger came on the scene. And then also, I mean, for me, working for Nike, having that connection to Tiger as well. Tiger's pretty special, and that would be mine.
I hope you don't mind me asking, how old are you guys? And then we can sort of work out where in the timeline that is for.
Yeah, I'm 38.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm 37. So.
Okay. Because
yeah,
for us, we were just too young to sort of have that that sort of late 90s, early noughties Tiger. I was I'm 25.
I'm 22.
So
yeah.
I was aware of it once I sort of got into golf, but even then I wasn't aware of how good he was. I actually thought he was older when I was like
definitely.
10. I probably thought he was, he's an old golfer. Just heard the name so often.
Because he won Masters the year before. His first Masters win in '97 was the year before I was born. You guys feel a bit older.
Thanks for that. Wow.
So like I sort of, and when I sort of got into golf, when I was sort of age to sort of really get into it, was when he had his back problems. So I never really saw Pump Tiger. Never saw it live. Like honestly, watching the Masters in 2019, I was absolutely loving it because I've watched like Tiger, like all the videos, everything, like all the stuff he's done. It's like iconic stuff. And then actually seeing him play at like that level again was like unreal for me, like not ever being able to see him play to that level when he was that good before. So it's sad what's obviously happened now, but hopefully he sort of comes through it. But
that was a little controversial saying past golfer. I mean, a little bit of an assumption there, Donovan, that he's dead. But
that's true. Well, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff coming out these days.
He's got a lot to come back from. Yeah, no, there was nothing like watching Tiger. I mean, he was incredible. And that Sunday roar when Tiger was charging or when Tiger was leading, he was hitting some amazing shot. I mean, golf was exciting. It's still exciting, but it was like a next level.
Yeah.
Even when he was leading by 7 strokes, like it was just his pure dominance at that time was just incredible to watch.
Yeah.
So is that yours too, Mike?
Yeah, no, he's definitely I mean, he's it. That's like the peak. Not having ever watched Jack really, like, because he was here before our generation. So you see highlights of Jack Nicklaus, but Tiger he's it for me, man. He's the pinnacle of golf and will always be the GOAT in my book.
What about for you guys? And now I'm curious, since you kind of missed the Tiger window, who's your kind of favorite past golfer, or the one that kind of you resonate most with?
I said on a recent episode that Nick Faldo for me, but it's sort of from I watched the Tiger documentary, and it's another name that I'd heard a lot about, but sort of didn't really put 2 and 2 together with how good he was, like with the name, if that makes sense. So I'd totally say now that's the player I'm sort of or the past player I'm most, I don't know, sort of celebrating their career at the moment, if that makes sense. Sort of thinking about that, and yeah, I don't know. It just maybe because he was the best English player for, you know, a spell. Maybe,
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but yeah, that's my answer.
Mine's Seve. Like, again, I wasn't really into golf enough watching him, but like some of the stuff he did around the greens was unbelievable.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
A wizard around the green.
So, what's your favorite golf course that you've played at each?
Mike, go ahead.
Well, we both have our PRs at a course called the Reserve in the Portland area, and it's a great course. I actually hosted a couple tournaments. The Champions Tour, the old guys came and played there. I think there was a women's tournament that was an LPGA tournament that was hosted there. So it's a quality golf course, and they have 2 courses there, and they rotate in north and south. And we ended up playing that. Was it the north that we played well at?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's where I have my 75, which is my low round, and it's just a really beautiful course. And well, you know, greenskeeper keeps that thing dialed. The greens are rolling well. The fairways are beautiful. So that's for me the best one that I've played. What about you, Donovan?
Nice. The best course I played is TPC Deer Run in Chicago. Yeah, I played it a few years back. I wasn't as good of a golfer, so it kind of ate me up and destroyed. But as far as quality of course,
yeah,
you know, it's part of the John Deere Classic is held there, and it is just a quality course. The nicest one I've ever played on. So I would have to say that one, just purely at the level of course, and the maintenance of that course was outstanding.
Nice. And what about your favorite hole you've ever played each?
Ooh, favorite hole.
Yeah,
that's a tough one.
I wish I had a hole in one, because I would say that one.
Yeah, I know from listening, you guys are, I think, the only person in the room with a hole in one.
Oh, we got a hole in one.
What?
Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, I was 15, and it's a short, like, it's a par 3 course, or it's like mainly a par 3 course.
There's a couple of par
The hole itself is like only 110 yards or whatever. But yeah, it is what it is. Factually, I've got a hole in one.
Yeah.
You claim that until you get a better one. You still hold on.
Yeah.
To that one. That's good.
One guy in the room.
I think my favorite hole, you know, I can't think of one hole that's like a hole that I stood on and was like, wow, this is an impressive hole. So I kind of fall back then on like the nostalgia of the holes I played when I was a kid. And so I grew up on this little 9-hole course in Ashland, which is in Southern Oregon. And it, the first tee is actually one where you kind of hit a ravine. And it was a sign that I was becoming a good golfer or a better golfer when I could actually hit it over the ravine. That was like the big moment for me. So that hole always holds a special place in my heart. Is number 1 at Oak Knoll in Ashland. That's kind of my go-to nostalgia.
Wow, that's a good pull, Mike. Yeah, I'm trying to think of. I'm sure I've stood at some holes and been like, "Oh, this is amazing." Oh, we have some great courses in Central Oregon that have beautiful hole like visions, and as you look out from the tee box. But I'm kind of gonna go the same route as Mike. There's on the municipal course in a town called Lake Oswego, where I grew up. There was a hole. I want to say was number 15. But one of my best friends in high school his house backed up to the hole. And so there wasn't anything really special about the hole, but it was that thing of as a kid, and even like when we were in middle and high school, mainly, we would sneak onto the golf course at night and play the hole and, you know, get into trouble there. And I actually think someplace in my garage, I have the sign from the hole. as a little keepsake, but that would be the one for me. Just because of fun memories with a good buddy, mess around the golf course.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good.
So moving on, what's your dream course you could play? At this point, we take out Augusta and we take out St Andrews, the old course. So because they're the sort of obvious two. I mean,
yeah.
Sort of a question quickly, has the old course got as much sort of prowess in the States as it does over here? Because obviously,
yes,
we'll see. It does have the same sort of draw, and
I think so.
When you watch the Open and see that course, you just can't help but dream of playing that someday. That thing is incredible. And yeah, I definitely, you're saying it's like Stan and then St Andrews, like the two of them are 1-1.
Yeah,
for sure.
I would say for me, I kind of have two answers, and it's probably West Coast of the United States bias, but the Pebble Beach is probably the high end one that I would love to play. That's on the West Coast. Just everybody knows Pebble Beach, and it's just a bucket list course. Yeah. But the other one is Bandon Dunes. So we have a very great golf resort in our own state that I've never played at this point, that has 5 or 6 golf courses that are some of the top sand-based courses some say in the world, but definitely in the United States. So those would be the two, going to Bandon and playing some of those courses, but Pebble being the more well-known one for sure for me.
Yeah, for me, it's without a doubt Bandon Dunes.
Okay.
That we have this world-class golfing mecca in our backyard, and we've never been there. And they offer all these great deals for in-state people during the winter. You can go play for like $100 or something. And the fact that Donovan and I have never pulled the trigger and done that, I'm just so disappointed in us constantly.
Yeah.
But yeah, you see these pictures and everybody's over there, and I follow them on Instagram, and the courses are just beautiful, and they're right on the cliff's edge with the ocean, the Pacific Ocean below. And I mean, it just looks like some of the most incredible golf you could play. I'd also love to get a couple of swings in at TPC Sawgrass, try to see if I get
that's
hit that island green.
Yeah,
that's mine for that, definitely.
I think we might have to start ruling out Pebble Beach as of now.
That's fair.
3.
Yeah.
Is that the go-to answer?
Yeah,
a lot of the time we put it. We done an episode on sort of our top 10 courses, and I'm pretty sure we put all Augusta, St Andrews, and Pebble Beach as the big 3. So
yeah,
I think maybe we'll start ruling that one out.
Yeah, no, maybe. So this is more of a thing, sort of, I think, in America anyway. So it's not really a massive thing, halfway huts in the UK. But so you played your 9 holes, you get to the halfway hut. What are you ordering food and drink wise? So, and just for sort of a bit of context here, you can honestly anything. We've had anything from pork belly to a ham and cheese sandwich. So
effectively,
it's literally whatever you want. You've got all the time in the world. Anything you want.
Ooh.
I think there's one quintessential getting something at the turn, and it's a hot dog. Like that's the go-to for me. Just quick, fuel you up, bag of chips, maybe grab a beer, and then you're back on number 10 tee box. For me, that's it. I love a good hot dog.
Yeah.
If I could have anything, that's a weird answer. If I have anything,
that is weird.
Imagine if that was a restaurant and you're like, anything you want from this restaurant, and you're like, hot dog, Chris, and a beer. That's it. That's all I want.
The worst choice.
No.
Is there a specific beer? Did you say or?
Oh, well, so we also we're lucky here in the Pacific Northwest. We have all these breweries that just make phenomenal beers. But I'm an IPA guy. I don't know if IPAs have really made it over to you guys.
Yeah, they have. I can confirm.
Yeah, definitely. So that's my go-to beer. It's actually IPAs that kind of destroyed a lot of other types of beer for me, because the flavor of an IPA is just so robust that you then go to drink any other type of beer and it just kind of feels weak in comparison.
Yeah.
So for me, and I'm an IPA drinker all day long.
Same as me.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Donovan? What are you getting from the halfway hut?
Yeah, I probably depending on how the round's going, I would likely get a beer. If the round's going horribly, maybe a mixed drink. If the round's going really well, maybe more towards like a Gatorade, or so I kind of, that's my, I usually get some sort of beverage, but it's kind of based off of my play, which lane I go in. But see, I'm like Mike. I always think of like the quick and easy bratwurst or something like that at the halfway house. I would say if it's open to anything, I might go into like a really strong like club sandwich or something like that. But I mean, I have to think, something light. I can't go a big steak dinner and really screw up my back nine. So I would say if I'm thinking wide open, I'll just go a really classic, fresh club sandwich and a beverage per my golf round.
Nice, yeah.
Have you ever stopped to eat mid-round?
Like I say, it's not a thing that sort of is even available here.
When I was like playing when I was 15, 16, I used to play Bayview, my uncle, my granddad.
Yeah.
We played 9, then we'd have a bacon sandwich and a coffee, then go back.
I think it's because it's a 9-hole course. I think it's sort of more it's more sort of more done in the UK. If it's a 9-hole course, you can sort of go around, play 9 holes, and then sort of get something to eat, and then go back round for the same 9 again.
Because the course that George is a member at, it's the 8th hole that comes back towards the clubhouse, and then the 9th goes back away from it. So you're not going to stop after 8. So it's not something that I've done probably since I was 16.
Yeah.
That's kind of blowing my mind. It's funny because cultural differences. I didn't even imagine that wasn't a thing everywhere in the world, because it is such a standard golf course in America. It's like you play the 9th hole and there's either a plaque with like a phone number and a menu that you can call and order your food, or there's like a little snack shack right there, or it takes you right to the clubhouse. So
I'll tell you what, listening to your guys, I think it was the last episode, it might even have been the episode before, and you were talking about like the cart girl or guy.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, I remember I sort of mentioned it to Cal, and I sort of said, that's just not a thing here. Like you were like, oh, it's a good round if you see like the cart person like 2 or 3 times. And I was literally like, there's just nothing. There's not, that's not a thing.
Guys, I see an opportunity for you. I think you could go start offering that service at different golf courses. I think that would blow up, because it's you're walking the course, you're driving the course, and it's like, oh, I'm thirsty, but the clubhouse is way back there. You guys pull up with a cooler full of cold beer.
That's the thing. It's like the done thing is just to take like a bottle of water in your bag, and then like if you're drinking, like you take like a cooler full of like your own beers or whatever. Like it's not a thing that anyone comes around and sort of does it for you. And honestly, it just, like I say, like just listening to you guys sort of saying, oh, it's not like it's a good round if you get 2 or 3 sort of visits. And I was thinking like that's like it's a good round if you get 1. Like
even if, from like the beer side of things, I've never drunk on the course.
Yeah, nice.
And we drink a fair amount.
Yeah, we're quite big drinkers. Like,
interesting.
Drinking on the course again isn't really a thing that's sort of.
It's never really crossed my mind. I don't know whether it's coming from because, like I say, predominantly I'm football based, and if I'm playing football, I'm not going to have a drink.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's that stems from. I've never really thought about it.
My big thing is like, because I drive to the golf course.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't be like, oh, I'll have like 4 or 5 beers here. My big thing is like, if I drive to the golf course after a round, we're going to the clubhouse and we'll have a beer. But I'll just have the one so I can still get home. Like, So I don't know. It's not. I don't know. It's like you say. It's just not really like a done thing here. Like,
yeah, I've just not really considered it. Like, and all like we go round and we see beer bottles and cans in the bins and whatever. It's just not like it's not done. It's just we don't think of it.
Yeah.
Huh.
It kind of goes hand. I mean, there's obviously tons of people that don't do it, but it is kind of a cultural thing. Like golf and drinking beer on the course is pretty standard.
I think a lot of the times it helps people with those, those hard slices to the right or whatever. If you can have a cold one while you're doing it, it makes it a little less painful. But
no, I'm all in for it. Don't get me wrong. I'm good to do it.
We probably have like we've obviously. I'd have thought, based on my limited knowledge of America, we have more pubs, bars locally that we'll frequent.
Yeah,
like we'll be going to the pub like a few times a week or whatever. I don't know if that's if that's as regular as what you guys would do or have done.
No, not so much.
I would say it's more just you get a 6-pack and have it at the house, and you might have a beer after work or something. It's usually more the weekend. The weekend is when people hit up the bars and pubs a lot more.
Because you used to work in a bar, didn't you?
Yeah.
And so we'd be in there, like minimum.
That's dangerous.
That's the start of our friendship. Me working in the pub and
being a customer.
Yeah. Usually coming in quite a lot, but so on to the last quick fire question. Haven't been so quick, but that's always great. We're like making a bit. That's the whole point of these. They're sort of to make conversation. So you have one round at Augusta with anyone on the bag, past, present. Doesn't have to be included in. They don't have to have a past in golf. Anything. Who are you having?
Mike, go for it.
Well, so I'm on Augusta. I want somebody that knows the course, right? So
okay, so it doesn't have to specifically be Augusta. Around wherever then, around wherever you want to play.
Just anywhere. I could have any person on the bag.
Yeah.
Ooh. I mean, I'd want a golfer just because I think it would be great to have somebody just with like a wealth of knowledge that could be like, try this shot, do this shot. The cliche answer is to get Tiger on the bag and just to have him walk with you. The nostalgia piece of me would be like get Grandpa on the bag so he can walk with you and give you some of his wisdom on the course. I don't know. What do you got, Donovan?
And I feel like this would be a common answer, but I'd have to go with my dad.
Yeah.
And I would get no help on the golf side. Because sorry dad if you're listening, like not that he's not good at golf, but it would just he's my ultimate hype man. Like he would be telling me I could make the shot even though he probably knows inside I can't, and so it would just be a fun. And even if it was like at Augusta, it would be like, oh, what a great experience. Memory. I think it's so cool when the professional golfers bring in family members as their caddy, because they're at a level where they don't need it really. And what a cool moment to have with a family member like your father. So that's where I'd go.
With specifically 2 English golfers that I can think of recently, like Tommy Fleetwood has his best friend on the bag, and Westwood rotates 3 caddies of his wife, his son, and then a professional caddy. So it's dependent on sort of how he feels that weekend. Like at the Masters this week, he's got his son on the bag, and it's like you say, like imagine that experience of just having your son on the bag. It'd just be a great experience.
Well, how cool!
Justin Johnson.
From a guest side of things, we've had answers like Mike Myers and Will Ferrell. So we don't get dad as often as you might think.
Yeah.
Oh, funny. I always think I thought of Lee Westwood a couple of tournaments ago where he had his fiance or his wife on the bag, and how crazy would it be to be her when he's like about to make a putt that's worth like $750,000 $1,000 and you're like
I think
trying
that's
to hype him up, and then if he misses it, you're like, no.
yeah.
Because he was saying that when he has his son or his fiance on the bag, they don't give him any advice at all. It's just that she is picking out a 7-iron. He says, I want a 7-iron. She picks it out.
Yep.
He back to her. She cleans it, puts it back in the bag, and that's it. Like, that's as much of a that's as much caddying that she's doing, or the son's
Totally.
doing. It's very much that's it. But
Yeah. So
and
funny.
it worked for him. He did that. What he was in contention like 3 weeks in a row or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I find that to be interesting too, because it's like, obviously these guys know the game. They know their games. They know the courses. They have all the information in their little yardage books and everything. So it feels like oftentimes a caddy's just there to like either agree with them or make sure they don't make a stupid mistake. So if you've got somebody who keeps you relaxed and keeps you comfortable,
Yeah.
that's like the most important thing.
Awesome.
Definitely. Well, that was that. I think that's it from our side of things.
Yeah, that's been really good.
From our listeners' point of view, there'll be a part 2 that they can check out on
these guys' feed. We're gonna
Yeah.
record something now with these guys for their feed, so you can check it out. Let them know where you can check it out, guys.
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, I'll do it. So you can check out our podcast, Golf Cart Conversations, on, of course, all the major streaming platforms. You can go to our website, golfcartconversations.com, or you can check out our Instagram at golf_cart_conversations.
Hopefully soon without the underscores. But
That's right.
That was really good, guys. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for having us. It was fun.
Super fun.
that was Golf Cart Conversations.
Well,
or
what about that?
our Golf Cart Conversation with Golf Cart Conversations, if you like.
What about that? That was good. Good fun.
Ruddy good fun. We'll keep this short because you've been here far too long, listeners.
That was obviously made possible by our 2 patrons at the minute. But if you do want to check out Patreon, the bonus content is going to be flowing from now on. Thank you to Max Hollowbone and George Stone Street.
Yeah.
At Max_Hollowbone at George_Stone Street.
Yep.
Where can they find you, Cal?
At Cal Stone Street on Twitter and Instagram. Callum Stone Street on Facebook. If you want me on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm Bakes98 on Instagram. BAKDS98. On Twitter, I'm George Baker_. On Facebook, I'm George Baker. Check us out on plugged_golf on Instagram, at Plug Golf Pod on Twitter. Yeah. Join the Facebook group. Follow us on Facebook. Yeah,
LinkedIn, we're on there.
Yeah. Check it out. Yeah.
Good one. On to 33.
Yeah, thanks for listening to us.
See you next week.
Bye.